Yo, my people, welcome back to the channel. Another match reaction, another win. The only place to catch match reactions here, win, lose, or draw. So make sure you are subscribed, hit the like button along the way. Love for the love from the last match reaction. I saw the subscribers going up, the comments engaging. Appreciate it all, people. And we move. Like I said, another win, another clean sheet on top of that. We're here to talk depth, people. Yeah, that's what we were told in the summer. And I'm not going to lie to you. As much as I question the number of outs and the number of ins and the numbers in total, we're in a very healthy place. That Eze signing, stacked us in terms of options in attack, in my opinion. It was necessary to allow someone like Martinelli to maybe reset, sit on the bench, come off the bench, deliver exactly what he did tonight. Not only deliver, but apply pressure. It wasn't just a moment he got on the end of it and scored. He had to run from the halfway line. First touch, not the best, but it's the first touch not being the best, lulled the defender in to think he's actually going to get it. And Martinelli's second touch, beautiful stuff. Lofted it slightly over the defender, and he just buried it. Listen, the shot itself, if I look at the keeper, I'll probably say, if I'm a Bilbao fan, what the hell are you doing? But I'm not a Bilbao fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. And Martinelli being on about 40 seconds, I think it was 40, 50 seconds. Because when he was coming on, I said, Martinelli, you've been on the bench a couple of times now. You've got to come on and do something in this game. Because again, it's a game where it's lacking something in attack. It's lacking a cutting edge, something he's been accused of playing a part of, right? But he comes on, and I don't know what Bilbao were doing with such a high line. Big up TROSSARD off the bench as well, delivered depth. Yeah, delivered. Because as much as Martinelli had to finish it, TROSSARD had to be quick with his thinking. Listen, I think it went from Mosquera heading it out to Declan Rice heading it on to TROSSARD through on goal. Nice. And Martinelli, he had a lot of work to do, like I said, but he done the work. He got the ball in the back of the net, and then he followed that up with a beautiful run, direct at the defender. He beats him. He beats him around the outside. He beats him across the touchline, and he cuts it back. TROSSARD takes a nice first touch, caught under his feet a bit. He stabs it. It takes a deflection. It's in the back of the net. Listen, people, it's game week 1 of 8 in the Champions League group stages. Now, the expectation is we get through to the next phase. Whether the next phase is a last, 32 knockout stage, or whether it's actually straight through to the last 16 in March. Either or, the expectations are, we get through. So these early Champions League games, not that they don't mean anything, but it's the first of many. And we're going to look back at something like this, a clean sheet to start the group stage, league stage, whatever you call it, and a top performance away from home against a decent club. I know they wasn't at full strength. I get that. But overall, in my opinion, the result, it's one you think, you move forward, and it's on to the next one. It's Champions League. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And we started it in the best possible of ways, because this season, on top of it, the Champions League knockout stages, having learned from last season, whoever does finish higher in the league phase, the group phase, will play all their knockout games at home in the second leg. I believe that's the case. So there is something more to play for there. Not that means the world, in my opinion, but it's something, I guess, a lot of people talk about it. So, starting with a win against a team that, when you look at our fixtures across the 8 that we've been given, they're not near the bottom of that tier. I wouldn't say they're at the top either, but away from home against Bilbao, you'd expect a tough test, and we got a tough test, and we dealt with it. We've dealt with it. I'm going to get in more into the match shortly. I just wanted to big up the bench, big up the squad today. I don't know why the camera keeps on zooming in and out. It's pissing me off as well, people, because I'm sure you're pissed off too. Look, it's just you. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, big up Martinelli, big up TROSSARD, big up Arteta for making the substitutions at the right time, in my opinion. Something had to change, and something did change. So well done to Mikel as well on the substitutions. Not only them coming on and having done what they've done, a goal and an assist each off the bench. Come on. You can't ask for more. Overall, like I said, we're going to get into things. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed. Big up Proton VPN QR code on the screen now. Bang. There you go. Scan it. Why? Just scan it. And then you find out why. I can tell you a bit. I will tell you a bit. But to find out more, scan it. Take up the exclusive offer. You need a VPN. What can a VPN do? You can search Google. Easy. Find out. There's a lot it can do. But I'll tell you something it can do. Protect data, privacy, security. You see at Arsenal, another clean sheet. What's that? 4 in 5 this season. Mad. Protected all round. They are. Make sure you are. And obviously, they're available in over 115 countries, over 15,000 servers. They can't let you down. They haven't let me down. They're on my iPhone, they're on my iPad, they're on my MacBook Pro right here, and they're on my TV downstairs. So, Proton VPN, my TV thinks I'm in Spain. Why? I won't get into that, but it can open up a whole new world, on streaming platforms. Let's just keep it like that. Keep it a buck, 100, a pound, whatever currency you're in. I don't know, but yeah, the saying only really works for America. Really, keep it a buck. But yeah, we move people. Hit the like button, hit the link in the description, pinned comment, scan the QR code, show Proton some love, and let's get into a bit more in detail the match. I saw some of the comments last time. Obviously, no longer doing fan cams and having that home mic question situation. I'm willing to take feedback on the way these are delivered. But in terms of match detail, kind of giving my opinion overall on the outcome and how it came about and who deserves credit for that. I think when I looked at the starting lineup, I thought a bit more change could have come about. I thought I'd see Lewis Skelly in there. I was upset not to see White in the squad at all. Not sure what's going on there, but wishing him the best, to be honest, because I know he did play through injury, played, via injections throughout that 23-24 season. And I guess partly feeling the repercussions of that. And yeah, let's not forget how solid he was for us. But I thought I'd see Lewis Skelly getting a start in there. Wasn't to be. Rice came in for who? Odegaard, who came out, and then it goes back to the midfield three we saw against Liverpool, and the original feeling behind that midfield three was the same for me tonight against Bilbao. For all right, we're not going to get much creativity from the midfield, and I don't think we did. If I'm honest with you, I think Marino was the best of the bunch. I think Rice was poor. I think Zubimendi was anonymous, really. So the midfield, I just don't like that balance. And from the two games we've seen them starting alongside each other, I think it's evident to see it's lacking something. On the flip side, someone might say to me, look how controlled we are in the sense of nullifying the opposition. You could argue that. And you could also argue that, listen, we've got one of the best defensive units in world football now, man for man. So really the midfield could do with loosening up a little, because in turn, then you loosen up the attack, where, again, I feel like some of the repercussions of that midfield three being the personnel chosen is that the creativity for the front three, especially Gyökeres, it's limited. Now, on that, I mean, Madueke had a lot of opportunities. He was the go-to man. We're still heavily onto that side, even though Saka's not there and Eze's on the left now. I'd like to see us balance it out a little bit more, but listen, it's habit. I get it. It's going to take a little while. But Madueke was on the ball a lot. He was beating his man a lot, but he was also, not getting that end product right. Which is a common problem that Madueke's had in the last couple of years in Premier League. Listen, it's a positive to see him running at players and beating them, because in terms of wingers, people, we've been starved. And he is a proper winger in the sense that when he gets it, he wants to run at a fullback and he beats them. It's just the end product needs to be better. And once I feel like, listen, some players get it and it clicks, some players never get it. And I think with Madueke, if he gets it and it clicks in terms of that final action, could be a great, great player. I'd be eating my words for 50 million. If it doesn't click and it continues and it becomes him, then it's a problem. And then, we look back at the signing and think, whatever. But so far, so good. Hopefully people don't think that was me being negative. It's not, because like I said, against Leeds, when he switched over to the right, when Saka got injured, I liked what I saw. Like I said, on the weekend, he was one of our main threats. I think our threat level has definitely gone up, but the cutting edge is still lacking, and in turn, it gives teams more belief, because I think Bilbao probably had the best chance of the first half with Beringa, I think his name was. I can't remember. That's again off the top of my head. Beringa, I think it's Baringa. Trickled wide. It wasn't much to worry about, but it was a first half really that, you know, wasn't much to really say or do. Into the changing room and out, and hopefully better. Um, Defensively, we were solid. You know, we were solid defensively. Timber Calafiori, beast, absolute beast. Like you individually, I mean, as a defensive unit, but we've spoken about Gabriel enough. We know what it is with him. Mosquera, I think he gets into a conversation in terms of, or into this reaction in terms of, again, how calm, composed he was. You know, I can't wait for Saliba to come back, because let's not forget Timber's coming up off another operation, back-to-back operations and back-to-back start. Mosquera, I'd be happy seeing him start as right back a few times to, wait for Ben White to get back, Timber to get some rest in the upcoming games. Maybe not immediately, considering how big they are, but hopefully the West Ham game with a further 6 points under our belts. And is it Port Vale before then as well? Which it should. I mean, we shouldn't united that all up. Midfield's overall stiff as expected. Attack, like I said, repercussions, ramifications of that midfield selection is the attack. Gyökeres had a couple moments. Header in the first half, probably should have done better. Header in the second half, should have scored. I don't know if he was caught in two minds, but yeah, it just felt like it landed to him weird as well. The way he positioned himself just made it weird, but he should have been getting it on target and or creating a good chance for someone to poke it home at the back post. But it was neither here nor there, and it went out for a goal kick. He came off obviously quite early, 65 on the clock. But it is what it is. Again, it's a matter of no service more so than it is anything else. I've spoken of defense, midfield, attack, and the bench. Listen, I started with the bench, I'll end with the bench. 10-10. 20-10, 110, whatever against 10 you want to put, just not anything below 10, because that's exactly what you need from your substitutes. Martinelli, 1, ignite hopefully a fire in his belly. That's the most productive he's been for us in the final third for a long time, and it's off a cameo off the bench against Bilbao, in a match that wasn't exactly free flowing and giving us chance in, chance out. It was a match that was quite dull, labored, slow at times. So him coming on and making that difference, he's knocking on the door. And that's what you want substitutes to do, knock on the door. So when those games come and you need to rotate, because you're going to have games in February, March, April, hopefully May, that are decisive to the season, you need people fresh. You need that starting lineup fresh. So Martinelli, knock, depth. That's what we need. We need him, Trossard. We already know what Trossard's about. He has done it since he's come to the club. Off the bench, he's delivered. When starting, up and down, but off the bench, he's delivered. He delivered again. Like I said, both got a goal and assist. Martinelli gets man of the match for me. And knocking on the door. What that means, I'm not too sure. I'll bring out a Man City preview towards the end of the week, in terms of what I'd like to see from the starting lineup. Because as much as Eze wasn't in the game, as much as I'd like him to, and I'd love to see him centrally, looking back at the starting lineup, it's just, why doesn't even Arteta start Nwaneri there? It's there's layers to this. So Man City, Etihad, it's a different game. It's a game we expect to now win, having beaten them the way we beat them last season, and having improved our fortunes against them over the last few years. It's a big one. Preview will be at end of the week. Make sure you are subscribed, people, because like I said, our only place to catch match reactions now is right here. Love for the love as always. I'll be back for a match preview towards the end of the week. Maybe an OGs in between. We'll see. And apologies for the camera, people. You should just be listening to me. It's not a fashion show. You shouldn't be watching. I say that being a YouTuber. Imagine that. But the camera's been focusing in and out so much that, there might be some conditions out there that I might need to, put right in and say, if you suffer from this condition, don't watch this, because the way this has been in and out of focus, even me, I'm struggling. Love for the love. I'm out. Peace.